turn sideways at Sunday. So,
hey everybody, today is jury selection day 1, and we got Vince here. I haven't been in court today, so I've been out here trying to do the outside work. So he's gonna keep you up to date on what happened today in jury selection.
Okay. Hello everybody, I'm Vincent II with RealLibertyMedia.com. Today is Monday, October the 30th of 2013, here outside the federal courthouse in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Bundy Ranch trial. Took a few notes too here, and some of this was outside the courtroom and others in, but we've got Ryan Bundy was not provided jury questionnaires existing of hundreds of people's pages, and jurors weren't at this time, they were still filling out paperwork and questionnaires. So a few of the mainstream media that are in attendance, and I didn't get everybody, and there's a few more down the line here, but special shout out to Maxine Bernstein. Been following her, a lot of good bullet points for me to follow along all the information that happened in Oregon. Special thank you to her. Ken Ritter from the AP, John Smith from Reuters, Ryan from the Southern Poverty Law Center, Tay from High Country News, Glenn Meek from the Now Report. Also of interest is Buddha's girlfriend, Brian Cavalier, Melissa Louder, she's in attendance, and some of the faithful that have been reporting and covering this: Shauna Cox, Sherry Duvall, Doug Knowles, Roger Root. Special howdy to Dia and Grandma Wendy. There's a couple other people and others filled in and filed in later. So originally the press was allotted one row that quickly expanded. So we got some folks from Massachusetts. David, where's David? He's around here, and his wife. They're spending their honeymoon. They're spending their honeymoon here to cover this, and they are from the Red Pill Politics. John Lamb, of course, Neil Wampler, and Chris from the Las Vegas Sun. And I was told that I may be on the the witness list. So at the courtroom about 8:15 or 8:50 this morning, Ryan, Cliven, Ammon, Bundy, and Ryan Payne, they were in the courtroom in jail fatigues. There was about 30 people in attendance at that time, including the press. About 9 lawyers for the defense, and prosecution had 3, and there are a dozen or so other members of the court, including security. Other people filed in, and the right side of the courtroom was used for us, and the left side left open for the jurors, the potential juror pool. Larry Clayman was seated up here in front of me, and with a case agent for the BLM. Brian Hyde's here, Libertas Institute, many years of talk radio up in southern Utah. So I counted about 37 in the court, and so Judge Navarro, she enters at about 9:27. Lawyers' names are given as the case number for Bundy et al. Attorney Whipple for Cliven Bundy. Ryan is attended with Mrs. Fletcher, I believe her name is. Dan Jones for Ammon, and Brenda Waxler for Ryan Payne. There's some few other names in there. So the Bundys came in and wearing their orange in protest, I guess. So Judge Navarro, she starts the jury selection, says it may take more than one day. Looks like it may take all this week. Friday we return for the evidentiary hearing. 3 more witnesses will be called. She said that violation of the rules of decorum would you'll be kicked out. Several reasons for defendants, such as no talking out of turn or turning around. Said no electronics in the courtroom, of course. And at 9:15, talked about the yes and no questions from the jurors. And let's skip down. So Attorney Wexler, excused for causes, called 657 for strong bias and familiar with subjects, so forth. 26 strong bias, 45 confesses believes the beliefs that he holds on the media coverage would influence. 49 and 71, and some concern about people with guns. 66 works for a paper. 64 knows about the Millers who killed the 2 police officers back in 2014 after they were expelled from the Bundy Ranch protest. So Attorney Kolpak wants to know about plans A and B, about the jury's previous calendar call, also about the Las Vegas shooter and its effect on the jurors. Would like to have time to review, because all this has been playing on the news and elsewhere in the media. There were some other questions and alleged prejudice in the correlation between the 2 events. It's been in the media and other outlets. Back as far as early as the 24th of October, about the guns that Paddock had bought in Mesquite, and supposed that being connected to the Bundys. So let's see, that. So Judge Gloria Navarro returns with this for answers from jurors. What is not permitted, and there's talking to this one guy, and I didn't catch his name, about paralegal. I'm getting dry. Hey, would you grab my water?
Yeah.
It's right there. Thanks. So this guy, she's not going to let him in. Thanks. One sec. Better. Okay, let's skip ahead. Okay, Ryan asked about being in shackles. They should be released, citing a presumption of innocence. Ryan Bundy also, jury questions, and no access, not able to prepare. He wasn't provided the new jury questions. He was hastily moved from the CCA to Henderson, and all of his papers were not forwarded with him. So Judge Gloria Navarro, she said, look for the property at the break, so at lunch now. Ryan Bundy talks about CCA staples, not at risk, but Henderson pulls them, leaves staples in their own paperwork to him, and he needed time to meet with other counsel in the court during lunch. He needs a pen and paper, which he's not allowed in the cell and holding while in court, and wanted to be able to converse with his co-defendants. Judge Gloria Navarro says no legal means to allow that she knew of, and she'd have suggested that he might have lunch in the courtroom. Ryan asserts rights to meet with co-defense, and so now the jury comes in at 10:05. Judge says that it's the highest duty of citizenship, and administers oath to the juries. Tells some about the case during response to any questions, even if previously answered, to answer them, and to base judgment only on facts presented in the courtroom and in court instructions, and not to do any investigation for themselves. Am I way too far up on there?
No, you're good.
So there was a seat check of jurors and prosecution and who they have with them. Myrie Dansinese, U.S. Assistant Attorney. There's Nadia Amco, Aaron Greger. There's a couple of FBI agents, Joel Willis, and a few other people there. So the Whipple is, we got Ryan Bundy. Let me see if I need to read all this. So these are some of the examples I'll have. I'll skip over some of the jurors that needed to be excused or wanted excused. And so the judge goes on to says that they have to be factual evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt. Without so you must acquit. She went on to give the reasons of excuse for cause, preemptory reasons, jury qualifications, and excusals, exemptions. So we go on to the calendar. It may take as long as 4 months to bring this all through to trial. She went on to give all the days of no court. Some of the jurors' reasons for not being able to attend due to travel, and asked whether the names of any of the jurors knew any of the names of the defendants or witnesses, and so on. So they started reading a list, the judge did, of potential witnesses, and I'll read off just a few of the names I caught up until I stepped out at H, and that was, so it went up to over 1,000 potential witnesses. But we see Glenn Beck, Joe Biggs, Congressman Bishop, Charlie Brown. I don't know who you are, but I was just wondering if that was the same one. Just kidding. The Bundys, there's a long list of the Bundys. Brian Cavalier, Buddha, he is on the list. Sheriff Jeff Christopher, Blaine Cooper, Shauna Cox is here, and she's on the list. Brandon Curtis, Lou Dobbs, and number 303 is Vincent Easley, followed by Michelle Fiore, Gary Frenchie, Doug Gillespie, Joel Graff, and that was about 400. And I ducked out of lunch a little bit early at that point, and they finished up but long after. And Chris Ann Hall was on there, and Sean Hannessy. So out front, y'all, and Ken Thornton's out here. A lot of folks here in support. Just interviewed on Channel 3, and Ida Antonio Castellan, and your coworker says hi, Denise. She says she'd say hi for me, and I appreciate y'all. Come down here and get some local coverage. Keep it up. So I'm glad to see Channel 3 out here.
Yeah,
that's it for before lunch.
So how do you think it's going with the jury selection? I mean, had they eliminated a lot? Or?
No, nobody's been eliminated.
Nobody.
She hadn't made any decision on anybody for to be excused.
Because I know there were over 350 prospective jurors.
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000.
Yeah, like maybe 1,300 or something.
Wow.
So they're just going through all these preliminary, and then they'll go, okay, well, we'll excuse you or not.
Right.
Then both sides have, they can tell they don't want this person on there for no reason at all. So different reasons, and they'll whittle down through there, and it'll probably take all week to do this.
So I'm gonna come around here. So for anybody that's wondering what's going on, I know some of my people don't know what's going on, but the federal government over here is trying to get a conviction on conspiracy to impede the federal government, basically, when the Bundys have grazed their cattle on this land for over 150 years, give or take a couple years. And so the federal government has come in and decided that they're no longer going to allow that, and that the Bundys need to pay the federal government. Well, the Bundys actually signed a check to the state of Nevada. It's the state of Nevada's grasp, because they did not believe that the federal government is in control of the state grasp. And so now they've been incarcerated for 2 years and shackled and left in solitary confinement for months at a time. And there still hasn't been a conviction. Their rights are being grossly violated. And so we're out here to bring awareness and to give support to the Constitution. So I am now a resident of Nevada. I'm fallen in love with a native Nevadan, and so I'll be here every day, and I will be either in the court or out here. So if anybody wants to keep caught up on all the jury selection and the trial, I will be here, and you can tune in. Send me personal messages or correspond through the Facebook, and I'm going to try and have as many people out here get on that I can, so that we can get many different points of view as to how this is going down. So I'm going to get off here. Soon they're going to be going back in from lunch, and I will have another update right after we get done. Thanks. God bless, and stay tuned.